Welcome to Owl the Storyteller. Am I the only one that didn't know how deeply fashion was intertwined with social order during the Sumptuary law era? Written by Elizabeth Curry in Sartorial Politics in Early Modern Europe, the Sumptuary law era, spanning roughly from the 13th to the 18th centuries, holds a unique place in fashion history. These laws were not merely a set of rules, but a reflection of the societal values and hierarchies of the time. They were a testament to how deeply intertwined fashion and social order were, and how clothing was used as a tool to maintain the status quo. It wasn't just about the clothes themselves, but what they represented. The fabrics, colours, and styles were all laden with meaning, signalling wealth, power, and social status. The rich brocades and silks were reserved for the elite, while the lower classes were restricted to simpler, less expensive materials. These laws, enacted across Europe and parts of Asia, dictated who could wear what based on their social standing. They were a way for the ruling classes to visibly distinguish themselves from the commoners, reinforcing the social hierarchy. The laws were meticulously detailed, specifying everything from the type of fabric to the number of buttons one could have on their clothing. Imagine a world where the fabric you wore, the buttons on your coat, even the length of your shoestrings, spoke volumes about your place in society. Every aspect of one's attire was a statement, a declaration of one's position within the social order. The restrictions were so precise that even the colours one could wear were regulated, with certain hues reserved exclusively for the nobility. That was the reality of the Sumptuary law era. It was a time when fashion was not just a matter of personal choice, but a legal obligation. The laws were enforced with varying degrees of strictness, but the underlying principle remained the same: to maintain social order and prevent the blurring of class distinctions. These laws weren't just about vanity. They were a means of controlling the economy and ensuring that wealth remained within the upper echelons of society. By restricting the consumption of luxury goods, the ruling classes could prevent the lower classes from aspiring to a higher status. They were deeply intertwined with economics, religion, and the very fabric of society. The Church often supported these laws, viewing them as a way to promote modesty and discourage excess. The economic implications were significant, as the production and trade of luxury goods were tightly controlled. By regulating consumption and display, the ruling classes aimed to maintain order and prevent social mobility. The laws served as a constant reminder of one's place in the social hierarchy, reinforcing the idea that everyone had a specific role to play. But as with any attempt to control human expression, people found ways to bend and break the rules, using fashion as a form of silent protest and personal expression. Smuggling and black markets for luxury goods flourished, and individuals found creative ways to circumvent the restrictions. This era, though long past, offers valuable insights into the enduring relationship between fashion, power, and identity. It shows us how clothing can be used as a tool of control, but also as a means of resistance. The legacy of the Sumptuary laws is a reminder of the complex interplay between fashion and society. It reminds us that fashion is never just about aesthetics. It's a powerful tool of communication, capable of reflecting and shaping the world around us. The influence of the Sumptuary laws can still be seen today in the way we use fashion to express our identity and status. Understanding the Sumptuary law era allows us to better appreciate the freedoms we enjoy today and to critically examine the subtle ways in which fashion continues to be influenced by social norms and expectations. It encourages us to think about how our clothing choices reflect our own place in society and the messages we send through what we wear. These laws were meticulously crafted, outlining in detail the permitted attire for each social class. They were not just arbitrary rules, but carefully considered regulations that reflected the values and priorities of the society that created them. They dictated not only the type of fabric, but also the colours, embellishments, and even the cut of the garments. This level of detail ensured that everyone, from the highest noble to the lowest peasant, knew their place in the social hierarchy. For instance, luxurious fabrics like velvet, silk, and fur were often reserved for the nobility and royalty. These materials were not just symbols of wealth, but also of power and influence, making it clear who held the reins of society. The use of gold and silver thread, precious stones, and certain types of fur were strictly regulated, serving as visible markers of wealth and privilege. These embellishments were more than mere decorations. They were statements of status and authority. The lower classes, on the other hand, were restricted to more readily available and affordable materials like wool, linen, and sheepskin. These materials were practical and functional, reflecting the everyday lives of those who wore them. They were often forbidden from wearing bright colours, intricate embroidery, or excessive ornamentation. This ensured that their clothing remained simple and unadorned, a stark contrast to the opulence of the upper classes. These restrictions served to reinforce the existing social hierarchy, making it immediately apparent who belonged to which class simply by glancing at their attire. Clothing became a visual shorthand for social status, eliminating any ambiguity. The rationale behind these laws was multifaceted. They were not just about maintaining social order, but also about controlling economic factors and protecting local industries. One key factor was economic control. By regulating what people could wear, the ruling elite could influence spending habits and ensure that wealth remained concentrated in the hands of the few. By limiting the consumption of luxury goods among the lower classes, the ruling elite aimed to prevent economic instability and maintain the balance of trade. This was crucial in a time when the economy was fragile and easily disrupted. Sumptuary laws also served to protect domestic industries by promoting the use of locally produced materials. This not only supported local economies, but also reduced dependence on foreign imports, which could be costly and unreliable. In essence, sumptuary laws were a tool for social engineering, economic control, and industry protection. They were a reflection of the values and priorities of the societies that created them, and their impact can still be seen in the way we think about fashion and status today. While we no longer have formal sumptuary laws, the idea that clothing can signify status and identity persists. Fashion remains a powerful tool for expressing who we are and where we fit in society. Whether through designer labels, unique styles, or specific trends, the clothes we wear continue to communicate our place in the world, much like they did centuries ago. Imagine walking through a bustling medieval marketplace. The air is filled with the sounds of haggling vendors, the clatter of horse-drawn carts, and the chatter of townsfolk. The marketplace is a vibrant tapestry of life, where every individual plays a role in the grand social hierarchy. You could instantly discern a person's social standing simply by observing the fabric of their clothing. The textures, colours, and quality of the materials spoke volumes about their place in society. A merchant draped in rich velvet and adorned with fine lace spoke of wealth and influence. Velvet, with its soft, plush texture, was a clear indicator of affluence. The The fine lace added an extra layer of sophistication, signaling that the wearer had the means to afford such luxuries. In stark contrast, a labourer clothed in rough-spun wool signified their humble station. The coarse, heavy fabric was practical for hard work, but lacked the elegance of finer materials. It was a clear marker of their lower status in the social hierarchy. The choice of fabric was paramount in conveying social distinctions. The stark contrast between rich velvet and coarse wool was a visual representation of the divide between the upper and lower classes. Luxurious fabrics imported from distant lands, such as silk from the Orient and velvet from Italy, were highly sought after by the upper classes. These exotic materials were not only prized for their beauty, but also for their rarity and the status they conferred upon the wearer. These fabrics were not only visually appealing, but also represented access to global trade networks and the ability to afford such extravagance. The presence of these materials in one's wardrobe was a testament to their wealth and connections. Each fabric carried symbolic meaning as well. The intricate patterns and textures were not just decorative, but also conveyed messages about the wearer's identity and status. Silk, with its smooth texture and shimmering appearance, was associated with wealth, sophistication, and exoticism. The delicate fabric was a favourite among the nobility, who used it to showcase their refined tastes and elevated status. Velvet, known for its luxurious pile and rich colours, conveyed power, authority, and refinement. The deep hues and soft texture made it a popular choice for those in positions of power, who wanted to project an image of strength and elegance. These fabrics were often incorporated into elaborate gowns, doublets, and cloaks, further emphasizing the wearer's elevated status. The intricate designs and luxurious materials were a clear indication of their high social standing. In contrast, the lower classes relied on locally sourced materials like wool and linen. These fabrics were practical and durable, suited to the demands of daily life, but lacking the opulence of silk and velvet. While these fabrics lacked the opulence of silk and velvet, they were durable, practical, and readily available. Wool and linen were the mainstays of everyday attire for the lower classes, providing warmth and protection without the need for costly imports. Wool, in particular, was a staple of medieval life, used for everything from clothing to blankets to building insulation. Its versatility and availability made it an essential material for the lower classes, who relied on it for their basic needs. The process of spinning and weaving wool and linen was a common sight in medieval villages. These activities were often carried out by women who played a crucial role in producing the fabrics that clothed their families and communities. Tailors and seamstresses also played a vital role in the medieval fabric economy. Their skills in cutting, sewing, and embellishing garments were essential in transforming raw materials into the clothing that defined social status. Market stalls were filled with a variety of fabrics, from the simplest wool to the most luxurious silks and velvets. Merchants displayed their wares, enticing buyers with the promise of quality and status. The marketplace was a microcosm of medieval society, where nobles and peasants alike came to trade, interact, and display their social standing through their clothing. The fabrics they wore were more than just materials. They were symbols of their place in the world.
Absolutely. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more captivating content like this. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating quality videos. Thank you for watching and being a part of our community. Remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Your support keeps us going.